Shabbat Shalom. Yai, 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 Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Come on in. Thanks for having a seat. Those who are seated. Our service begins on page 10. Yedid Nefesh. Yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, dai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai dai, dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai, yai dai dai. Man mishoch avdach el tzonach o yarutz avdach kimo ayal yishtach el mul hadarach o Yerev lo yedidu tach minofet suf vechota. Yai hai 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 נפשי חולה אהבתך אהבתך אנא אלנה רפנה לך בהרוך לך נועם סביבך נועם סביבך אז תתחזק ותתרפא והייתה לך שפחת עולם. יאי 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 Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi.
Shabbat Shalom. You sound underwater. Are you underwater?
Check. No, I'm right here.
You're good, you're good.
All good, oxygen.
You can sort of expect that when the rabbi invites a lot of guests that they will be the least likely to sit down and actually daven. That 100% goes with the territory. Well done. And of course, the rabbi will be the last one to sit down. Because rabbis, if they don't hug everybody as they walk in, lose their license. Welcome, everybody. Though I don't see the birthday lady. She's not. She runs on her own schedule. I know something about Rebbitzins who run on their own schedule, but mine is here. It's great to see you. But I was going to invite her up to light candles. Since I can't invite her up to light candles tonight for us, Mindy and David, would you come on up? Come on up, and if you would bring in Shabbos with some light, that would be very nice. Matches and fire stick, whichever you prefer. Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome. It's good to have such a sweet collection of friends together to celebrate Shabbat, and it's always good, Carl, to share the bima with you. We're going to start with L'chuna Ranana, inviting in Shabbat through a series of Psalms, and I'm not looking at an open book yet. What page are we on, Carl?
We're on page 11.
There we go, doing the rabbi's
The key
job.
word here is Nariah. So what I'm asking you, the Kahal, to do is when I say Nariah, you echo it right back. So I'm going to go, Nariah. Yeah, we got to get right in time. Nariah, Nariah, Nariah. Hold on. Kind of like that. L'chuniranina l'Adonai. L'chuniranina l'Adonai. Nariah. Letzur Yeshenu Nikadma Fana Bitoda Nariah. Letzur Yeshenu Nikadma Fana Bitoda Bizmirod Nariah Lo לכו נרננה לאדוני. לכו נרננה לאדוני. נריע לצור ישענו נקמה פנה בתודה. נריע לצור ישענו נקמה פנה בתודה. בזמירות נריע לו, בזמירות נריע לו, בזמירות נריע לו. Turn the page, repeat after me. 40 שנה אקוד בדור ואומר עמתו אל לבבהם והם לא ידעו דרכי. Together we say אשר נשבעתי ויפי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי.
Page 13, sing out to Adonai a new song, sing to Adonai all the earth.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני בחור שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהי עמים מלילים, באדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו. הבו לאדוני משפחות עמים, הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, הבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. זהו מנחה ובואו לחצרותיו. השתחוו לאדוני באהבת קודש. Page 14 of the marker, repeat after me. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, ילוז שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל עצי יער, לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ. Together ישפוט תבל בצדק ויאמין באמונתו. On page 16, Psalm 97. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha. Ulishvelev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha, ulishvelev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha. Or zarua latzadik ulishvelev simcha. שמחו צדיקים באדוני והודו לזכר קודשו. Page 17, Psalm 98. It's a little Achad Dardi, a little early for that. Yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai. Yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, yai dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, dai, yai dai, yai dai, dai, dai. Shiru l'Adonai, shir chadash. כי נפלאות עשה, הושיע לו ימינו וזרוע קודשו. יאי די די יאי 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 די Page 18. Livnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim b'meisharim. Page 99, Psalm 99 is found on page 20. Moshe v'Aaron b'Kohanav u'Shmuel b'Korei Shemo korim el Adonai v'hu yaneh b'amud anan yidaber alehem shamru edotav v'chot natan la'amo Adonai Eloheinu, Ata Anitam, El Nosei Hayta Lahem, V'nokem Al Alilotam. Vomimu Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu Lehakodsho. Vomimu Adonai Eloheinu, והשתחוו להקודשו כי קדוש אדוני רומם כי קדוש אדוני We rise, page 21, our Friday psalm. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Havu l'Adonai kivod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, kol Adonai Bakoach Kol Adonai Behadar Kol Adonai Shover Arazim Vayashaber Adonai Et Arze Havanon Vayakdeb Kemo Hegel Levanon Vesirion Kemo Venremin Kemo Venremin Kol Adonai Chotzet Lavodei Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kadesh Kol Adonai Yachole Ayalon Vayich Kesov Ye'arot Uvechalom Kulo Omer Kavod Kulo Omer Kavod Adonai lama bu yashav vayeshev Adonai melech liolam Adonai oz liamo yitain Adonai yevorech et amo vashalom Yai 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 You can sit.
I was going to tell him to stand up, but it's all a workout. Because here's the thing. Abraham Joshua Heschel said that the reason that the second commandment exists, the commandment not to make images of God exists, is because it obscures the images of God that are already available to you all the time. The image of God is on the face of each and every person that we see. It's not that God has no image in the world, it's rather that God's image is repeated in the world 6 or 7 billion times now, and it can be really easy to miss it if you're trying to make that image out of stone or clay or paint. We're in a room with some faces that see each other all the time and some faces that haven't seen each other in a really long time. I am personally really excited that we are in the room with the 3 PKs that grew up in this congregation for the first time, with the current PK growing up in the congregation. If Joey, John, and Anna Rose could teach my daughter how to navigate this a little bit, that would be really nice, and grow up with quite as much grace as the 3 of you all carry in the world, that would be a real gift. I invite you to, yes, get back to your feet. I apologize, but rabbis tell people to stand, to go and find some image of God in the room, some face that you're excited to see and greet and hug, and to wish them a Shabbat Shalom before we go into L'Chadodi together. Come sing with us and welcome Shabbat.
Lecha dode lekra kala yavabai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila oi 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 Lecha dode lekra kala yavabai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila.
Stop enjoying each other's company.
We're on page 23. At least me and the rabbi are on page 23. And Lev is on page 23. That's three of us trying to get a minion going here. Lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavilap. Ay, 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 lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Shamor v'zachor v'diborecha Hishmihanu el hamayuchad Adonai echad Ushmo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'lila Lechadodi lekrakala yababa 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Oi 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 lechadodi lekrakala yababa 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Likrat Shabbat lechovenecha Ki mekor haberacha Merosh mikedem nisucha Sof ma'asesh b'machshavat yela Lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Oi 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 lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Nikash melech lechuvenecha kumitzei mitoch ha'afecha Rav lach shevel bi'emek ha'avacha. Doesn't work either. Sof ma'atzem machshavati la Lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. Oi 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 lechadodi lekrakala yababai 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 Mikash melech. Did I already do that one? I know we're supposed to Lechadodi lekrak. Sorry. Yabai 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 Pene Shabbat nikavila. We turn to page 25. Right? Don't we? Don't we turn to page 25? We do. Because we like to change up the melody. That's our tradition. לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה והיו למשיסו סוסי ורחקו קום מבולי יוסי סולי אלוהי כמסוס חתן על כלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה יומין ושמאל תפרוצי את אדוני תריצי על ידיש בין פרצי ונשמחה ונגילה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה.
We turn and face the door, inviting in the spirit of Shabbat, personified as a lover, as a queen, as a bride. We draw a collective breath.
בואי ושלום עטרת פעלה גם בשמחה ובצוהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה לחדולי לקראת קהלה פני שבת נקבלה יאי די 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 יאי די 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 יאי די די יאי די 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 יאי די יאי די 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 יאי די די. Well, you could be seated. Why not?
I will just say I now know what volume this group is capable of. Not while singing or praying, of course, but that's the volume we're going for as we fill up the space with a sound that renders a professional musician mute. We're trying to fill up the space with Shabbos. We're trying to fill it up with love. You guys are doing great. Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, Tov Lo Dod L'Adonai. It's good to say thank you. That's on page 27.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשר ועלי נבל עלי גאון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון כי שימחתני אדוני בפעליך במעשי ידיך ארנה מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני כל עמק ומקשותיך מזמור שיר ליום השבת better לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון. Turn the page. צדיק התמר יברח יברח צדיק התמר יברח צדיק התמר יברח יברח צדיק התמר יברח כארז בלבנון יזכה כארז בלבנון יזכה כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה כארז בלבנון יזכה כארז בלבנון יזכה כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה עדותיך נאמנו מאוד, לביתך נאווה קודש אדוני לאורך ימים. And that is Kabbalat Shabbat.
Page 30, invite those who are saying Kaddish to rise and join with me. Yitgadal, v'yikadash, shemei rabbah,
Amen.
v'yalma divrach yirutei, v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon, v'yomechon, v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv, v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach, leolam olmei olmaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmei dekudisha, le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru.
Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru.
Amen.
Invite us all to rise together. Baruch Hu is on page 39, transition into Marv.
39a.
Your seats.
Umavir yom umivir laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, hamariv aravim. Page 40. Avad olam bet Yisrael, Amcha havta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu, b'shachveinu u'v'kumenu, nasiach b'chukecha, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו ויורך ימינו ויורך ימינו. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Join together in the Shema, page 41. Let's do this slowly so we can all be together.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'otecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Alevavecha Vishinanta Amlevanecha Vedibarta Bam Beshivtecha Beveitecha Uvlechtecha Vaderech Uvshachbecha Uvkumecha Uvshartam Liot Ayadecha V'hayula Totafot Beinenecha Uktavtam Al Mezuzah Echa Uvisharecha V'haya Yishno. Adonai Elohechem Amen.
We meet together on page 44 from Michamocha, People's Redemption Song. No, just go for it. Yeah.
And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one we've exalted. Miriam and the women, they danced the whole night long. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women, they dance all night long. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nerba kodesh nora tehila, o sefele nora tehila, o sefele. Gonna do it one more time. Micha mocha ba'elim Adonai, Micha mocha nerba kodesh nora tehila, o sefele, o tehila. Oh, say fella. Malchut Charavanecha, Boker Yam Lifnei Moshe, Ze Elianu V'Amru, Adonai Yimloch Le'olah. V'ne'emar Kifad Adonai et Yaakov, Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch Ata Adonai. Gal Yisrael.
Page 45 is Hashkivenu, which is a prayer for peace, for us to experience peace, for our children, for our grandchildren to experience peace. A lot of times we treat the words in the prayer book like this is a song book, but this is actually a prayer book. We're praying for things. We're praying for peace. I don't know if you noticed this week, but one guy who looked like a Bond villain marched on another guy who looked like a Bond villain, and all of them have nuclear weapons. And like, we're actually living in really scary times. And, you know, I make a joke, but I make a joke so that I don't crawl under the covers and lay on top of my child to protect her, right? What if we do Hashkivenu not as a song? We'll sing it, of course, but if we actually try to pray it, if we try to pray, put in energy and intention into the idea that we need a more peaceful world. Let's sing this together, but let's sing it as a prayer.
Can I read in English once?
Yeah.
Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Sure our going and our coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim. Ushmor Tzeitzeinu Uvoenu L'chaim U'Shalom Me'ata v'ad olam Ufros Aleinu Sukkot Shlomecha. Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. And then I say, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more, there'll be no more war, and the children will play.
The grandchildren love this song.
One day, one day, one day. 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 Baruch atah Adonai Hapores Sukat Shalom Aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim v'al kol Yoshvei Tevel.
Please rise as you are able. Vashamli on page 46.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabbat la'asod et Hashabbat ledoratam berit olam. Israel, Oti leolam, ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat chayim nafash. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah v'yamad divrak yutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael bagala bagala uv'zman kari v'yimeru Yehei Shmei יתברך וישתבח, ויתבהר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר, ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי לקודשה, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן ביעלמה ויאמרו.
The evening Amidah begins on page 47. You're more than welcome to open the book and pray through the prayers. You're also more than welcome to close the book and open your heart and just take a few minutes of quiet meditation and prayer. We'll meet back up again in a few minutes.
Ose shalom bimroma, huyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Yase shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Amen. Page 54. Yikadav yikadash shmei Rabbah, ve'amad yivrak yiruteh, v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chayechon v'mechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala v'zman kari v'yimeru, yehei shmei Rabbo mivorach, le'olam u'al me'al maya, yibarach v'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shmei dekudesha, La'ela min kol brachata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran b'yalma v'yimeru. Titkal ba'atzlot hon avod hon dechol Yisrael, kadam avod divishmaya v'yimeru. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael, v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimeru. Amen.
Shkoch, Carl. I recognize I am standing between you and conclusion of the service and dinner, and that's a dangerous place for a Jew to stand. So this will be quick learning, but hopefully with a little chance for some conversation. I was thinking, for whatever reason, in preparation for tonight, about powerful, wise women who are leading from the side, who manage to lead in extraordinary ways from that position, who manage to give life and bring light, who manage to make everything better with their presence. Thinking about Rebbitzins of CBI, both past and present, though she is out taking care of the aforementioned PK, who had just about enough of Daddy's service. This is a parsha that talks about Miriam. Unfortunately, this is the parsha at the end of Miriam's life, but it's the parsha that gives us the association between Miriam and the famous well. The story that as Miriam traveled with the people in the desert, that an oasis, a well of water, followed behind her, comes from an interesting confluence of verses in this parsha. It says, and the Israelites arrived at the wilderness of Tzin in the first new moon and stayed there at a place called Kadesh. And Miriam died and was buried, and the community was without water. Now, it could just be that it had finished relating the Torah, had finished relating the story of Miriam's life, and now it is moving on to another story about yet another dry spell in which you can assume that the Israelites are going to complain, are going to try to overthrow Moses, are going to try to reject God, and all of that. We are a predictable people, after all. But this Somech Parshiot, this connection of two verses, leads the rabbis to imagine that there is more than a coincidental connection between Miriam and water. And so the Talmud picks up, and the various authors of Midrash and commentators continue in imagining Miriam as the source of the community's sustaining Mayim Chaim. The congregation had no water. This is a comment from Rabbeinu Bachya, medieval, who sort of summarized in traditions. When Miriam died, the well disappeared because the well was due to her merit. Miriam, who merited the water through watching over Moses at the Nile, as it's written, and his sister was stationed at a distance. And because it disappeared now with her death, Israel realized that it was with them through her merit. And from here we can infer that the well was with them the whole 40 years of their wandering. So it turns out, as Joni Mitchell told us, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Right? That this well that traveled along with the people through the wilderness, through a place which is not known for water in the deep Sinai desert, they just assumed was a sign that God loved them. But actually, as it turned out, there was a special reason for that well and a special person whose merit sustained that well, and she was in their midst all along. And nobody knew to say thank you. And one day, Miriam is gone, and with her, the water. And so that turns me to a text attributed to the Baal Shem Tov, the founder of Chassidut, of the mystical tradition of Eastern Europe. This is a text that I have printed out and up on a magnet to my refrigerator for years and years. It's a text that's an important kavanah for me. If we were to walk in the woods, the Besh says, and a spring appeared just when we became thirsty, we would call that a miracle. You're out for a hike, and just at the very moment when you are getting thirsty and faint, there is a well of water. God loves me, a miracle. And if on a second walk, if we became thirsty at just that point again, and again the spring appeared, we might remark on the coincidence. Once it happened and it was a miracle. A second time, well, that's strange. Happened again. But if that spring were there always, we would take it for granted and cease to notice it. Yet is that not more miraculous still? If every single time we got thirsty, we could, for example, walk to a tap, turn it on, and out would come fresh, clean, and safe drinking water, it would cease to be miraculous and simply become a matter of course. We know that in our own lives. We know that about water. We know that about food. We know that about the roof over our heads. We know that about the presence of loved ones. When someone or something is always there, it very quickly loses its element of magic, of miracle, and becomes just a matter of course. And by the way, if it's gone, then we feel aggrieved because we feel that we're entitled to it at every moment. I remember a bit that was on late night TV just a very few years ago, just when they had introduced Wi-Fi onto planes. And this comic was talking about being on a plane, and they had literally just had it widely available for like the first year. And he talks about sitting next to somebody and the Wi-Fi goes out. And the person he's sitting next to starts cursing at the steward. The Wi-Fi isn't working. And the comic says, "You're in a tube in the sky. It's not held up by anything. It's just flying at outrageous speeds, miles up in the air. And you can't watch videos? And you're mad about that?" But the truth is now, 5 or 6 years later, when we all come to expect it, if the Wi-Fi is out on a plane, I want my money back. It's amazing how fast miracles become ordinary and how fast ordinary things become expected. And so I want to invite you for just 3 minutes. I know if I turn you loose, I know what's going to happen. So you're not standing up, you're just looking at the people near you. And I want to invite you, together with the people around you, to think about one time when you caught yourself in this. When something that's miraculous that you had started to take for granted, you started to notice was miraculous again. I want you to talk about one time when you made it a miracle again in your own mind and in your own heart. Find a time like that. Share it with the person near you, and I'll look for a couple of people to share it out with the group. And if you're sitting by yourself, by all means, people near them, invite them to come and sit with you. Nobody should be by themselves on Shabbos. What was one time you overcame the tendency to see the miracle as mundane? And what did that for you? How'd you do it? So what was the time that you noticed the miracle? You had stopped noticing. It had become just a matter of course. Of course the spring is there. Of course the Wi-Fi will be working. And you caught yourself, and you woke yourself up. What was the time when that happened to you? Yeah, please, Deborah.
We wear cotton clothing all the time and don't think anything of it. And the first time my cotton tree bloomed and I was able to harvest it and make yarn, and then take other plants from my garden and make colors of that yarn.
Most people know, but in case you don't, Deborah's a weaver. Right? Did you know your clothes grew in the ground? They grew from a seed that someone planted and took care of and were made by these miraculous processes, and then they turn into a shirt that you can buy at Target? That's freaking amazing. And she knows how to do it too. It's a miracle. Who else has got a story?
It was wintertime. We were driving from St. Louis to St. Joe, Michigan, and it was in a freak snowstorm. And you always think, well, I can always drive up the hill. Could not drive up the hill. There were no plows. So everybody had to get out of the car, push the car in front of you up the hill, go back to your car, and then everybody will push you up the hill. And you start to realize that as a community, you can accomplish anything.
Is that the most Bob Sklar story you've ever heard? Because Bob actually pushed every single person's car up the top of the hill and then fixed it at the top? Yeah, I count on when I press my foot down on the pedal that ancient dinosaurs are going to catch fire inside my car and propel me forward at extraordinary speeds. That's wild. I don't understand how an engine works. I don't know why when you set fire to the gas, the car doesn't just go boom, but it doesn't. Bob knows why. But it doesn't. Instead, it goes forward. It's a miracle. At least it's science, and it's pretty cool science. Anybody else? A time you woke up to it? Mike.
And I don't say this just because we have an ER doc in the room. But to wake up in the middle of the night and know when you need it, that Hoag's emergency room is there and there's people in there in harm's way, knowing that they're going to take care of you.
I just introduced Gracie to the idea that there's a prayer for going potty. She likes that idea. Right? The idea that our bodies just work, that all of these insane systems work most of the time, and that what's more, when they stop working, that there are people in the room who can fix them, and that we live in the only time in human history when that's true. It's pretty amazing. I encourage you to talk about this over dinner. It's good dinner time conversation. The fastest way to become a pariah in the room, especially in Orange County, is to even say the word COVID. People are so tired of hearing about COVID. But remember when, a minute ago, everything that you knew about how the world worked stopped? A minute ago? We just started day camp here. Last summer, the kids were in masks and separated out and potted. It's just last summer. We told ourselves in the midst of lockdown, I am never going to take for granted being with people. I'm never going to take for granted a hug. We talked about how sweet that first hug was going to be. And it really was. And the second hug was pretty good. And by the third, we were back to normal. And by a year or two out, depending on how you count, a year out if you're from LA, 2 years out if you're from Orange County, it stopped already. All those things we promised ourselves that we would never take for granted again are out of the discourse about never taking for granted again, at least for a lot of us. God bless you if you're still holding on to the sweetness. It's so fast when the miracle is available that it just becomes a matter of course. And so I want to invite us this Shabbat when we're celebrating an extraordinary woman, this Shabbat when we're celebrating just the extraordinary gift of Shabbat, which is every single week, to re-enchant the world a little bit, to notice the magic, to notice the miracle, to notice the well of water, because you never know when it's going to be gone. Shabbat shalom. We don't have Kiddush up here, so we'll make Kiddush because I think most of us are staying for dinner, so we'll make Kiddush together. I do want us to do a Mishabach. Do you have? You can riff. Yeah. For those in our lives, in our community, who are in need of a little bit of extra love, of a little bit of healing of refuat and nefesh, of healing of spirit, refuat guf, healing of body, we collectively lift you and them up in prayer.
Mishberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak V'Yaakov Sara Rivka Rachel v'Leah Rivareh Virapeh El HaCholim. Elna Rifana Elna Rifana Elna Rifana Elna Rifana Mishberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak V'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech Virapeh El HaCholim Hu Yivarech Virapeh El HaCholim.
Please rise, Alenus on page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המון. מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא נוטה שמיים ויוצא הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמה ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אינו מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת אין עוד. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד. ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You can be seated, all those except those saying Kaddish. This week, congregation remembers Erwin Cohen, Maurice Hurwitz, Esther Fiskamp, Charlotte Farivar, Robert Wolf, Moshe Wolk, Raymond Lubling, Virginia Kars, Boris Krijalansky, Truda Omlis, Ada Perloff, James Matthew, Simon Koblenz, Arthur Westerman, Isidore Harry Fisher, Gigi Mimon, Leo Mirowitz, Erwin Greenberg, Gary Witzling, Margit Klauber, David Stein, Fanny Guess, Dennis Feinberg, Louis Miller, Bertha Leibovich, Bella Newdorf, and Ilan Shani. For all of those, and for all of those you're carrying in your heart, I invite you to join in Kaddish, testimony to the idea that people die but love does not. Yit Gadal, V'Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'Alma, Divrach, Hirute, V'Amlich, Malchute, V'Chayechon, V'Yomechon, V'Chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael, V'Agala, V'Zman Karib, V'Imru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Omei Almaya Yitbarach V'Yishtabach Ba'ar V'Yitromam V'Yitnaseh V'Yitadar V'Yitaleh V'Yitalal Shmei Dekudesha V'Ruchu Le'elam Min Kol Birchata V'Shirata Tushbechata V'Nechemata Damiran Be'alma V'Imru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al Kol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
It is notable to me how many past presidents of CBI are sitting in the room. The idea that somebody could be your president and you'd want to invite them to a birthday party is a testimony really to the quality of CBI's leadership. I hope that someday I will want to invite Jacob Green to a birthday party. We're doing pretty good so far for the first 6 months, but you know, we got a ways to go. Jacob, tell us what's going on.
Wasn't nervous, now I'm terrified. Thank you, Rabbi. Carl, thank you very much, the great Carl Cedar, and Rabbi, thank you after the tough long week you've had. Reflu Shaman, and thank you for what you brought tonight. And Mazel Tov, happy birthday, Linda. We are all celebrating with you and with all of your family and your extended family and all of your friends. So, and now I'm really between you and dinner, so I will make it very brief. So many exciting and wonderful things happening right now at CBI. Just a couple of announcements. Tomorrow, Torah study starts at 8:30, services at 9:30 a.m. here. On Tuesday, 4th of July, we're going to try it out, see how it goes. We're going to all go to Tustin High School together, have a vegetarian picnic potluck or picnic lunch, or evening dinner, and then we'll watch the fireworks together at 9 o'clock. Also this Friday, in the spirit of trying new things out, we're going to do Friday night Shabbos in the park. Additional information is available once you RSVP. Shabbat Shalom.
Page 5. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharim, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Mi L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzechem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Yai dai dai, yai dai dai dai, yai dai 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 dai, yai dai dai, yai dai. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom. May we enjoy the miracle of being together of another Shabbat all as a CBI family. Are there instructions for us going forward, Rabbi? Wonderful. Shabbat shalom to all.